Welcome everybody to the Bryan Birthday Eve Phantasm watch party. We are going to be watching, you guessed it, Phantasm. For no other reason than the fact that I love this movie and got some of my buds from Daily Dead to join us. So we've got Mr. Scott Drebit. Good evening, sir.
How do? How are we this eve?
Excited? Ready for our visit to Morningside Cemetery?
Oh, got the shirt.
You definitely didn't show any of it. Like, not even a little bit. Pop. No, you need to go to your left.
To the left.
Go to your left. There you go.
There we are.
Yes, now you have to do the rest of the thing like that. Also
left.
joining us from our Minnesota contingent, Derek Anderson.
Greetings, Brian. Happy birthday, Eve. My present to you is dressing exactly like you. So
Yeah, twins.
I'm doing this.
See our shirt? You see the way we're wearing our shirts alike?
Yeah, yep. It's I'm sure we're wearing the same like pants as well, but you know,
you're wearing pants. Man, you don't you don't. This is a party, man.
It's that kind of a birthday Eve. Okay.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Anybody who's wearing pants must remove them. That is my dictate as the birthday Eve boy. Last but not least, our fearless leader, Mr. Jonathan James.
I was looking to see if I had something Corpse Club around because I'm like, oh, you guys got shirts. I have nothing. But I do. I have stacks of Corpse Club membership cards. They were literally by my feet.
Wow. Well, you have to glue one of those to your forehead.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just put it right here.
Staple it.
Yes.
Your name tag.
Exactly. There.
So I don't want to hold us up too quickly before we get the movie started. For those of you who are new to the watch parties, so we will not be streaming the actual like video footage through the stream. Twitch has a tendency of their algorithm will find anybody who is streaming a movie that's not through Amazon Prime and will cut out your feed pretty quickly if you try and do that. So
they will kill us.
Yes. Yeah. They cut the feed and then there will be little Twitch bots that come up behind us and just it's not good. So to avoid that, we're going to have you all watch along at home if you feel like it, or you can just watch us be asses the entire time. So if you are following along, I'm going to be watching on Shudder, and I believe you can do that on both the US version and the Canadian version, Scott.
You sure can, eh? That's where I'm watching.
Good to hear, man. And so
it's got the new dub, eh, with the soft O's.
The tall man says sorry a lot. Boy, am I really sorry, boy. If for whatever reason you don't have Shudder and you want to follow along, you can also get it free on Tubi and Crackle. It will have ads, so you might be a little off, but we're going to be way off. So I think you'll be fitting right in with us. So why don't we go ahead and get everything queued up and we'll get a countdown and we'll get things started. Fellas, you got everything ready to go?
I'm at 0.
All right, we'll give a countdown.
129.08. And if you're watching at home and you're watching the Shudder, this is the remastered that Bad Robot J.J. Abrams company redid, and it's an amazing looking.
You get a really good view of the caretaker peeing himself when he gets hit with the sphere. We'll see that in a little bit. But to get there,
spicy.
I'm gonna give a countdown. We'll go 3, 2, 1 and play. So 3, 2, 1, play. And we are off, and I will get our little counter going here theoretically. Awesome. All right. So I think that's a little bit behind, but if people hop in a little bit late, they'll at least have somewhat of an idea on where
I'm at 15 seconds. Well, I was.
Now, are you just going to keep giving us updates on what your timestamp is? It's gonna be an hour and a half of Scott just going like 24 seconds, 25 seconds.
No, I was going to talk about Avco Embassy, who I can honestly say that was a company that I followed, because right around this time, Phantasm, as the titles come up, right around this time was also The Fog, was also
That's always what I think of when I see Avco.
Escape from New York, right? Dead and Buried, right? Like I think Dead and Buried. I could be wrong about that one, but anyway, just a lot of really cool movies were associated with Avco Embassy. And there's the Dunsmuir House,
used in so many movies, classic ones. We've got this. We've got Burnt Offerings, of course, for a little bit more recent, it's like 30 years at this point. So We Married an Axe Murderer had some scenes in there.
Oh, that's a great
View to a Kill.
That's a great horror comedy combo.
Yeah, definitely. Kicking things off in true B movie fashion with a little sex in the graveyard. While we look voyeuristically on poor Tommy and his demise. Anyone wondering, I have a nice little mocktail going here. It is seltzer with grenadine, lime, and Trader Joe's actually does these really good like pink oranges that I squirted into there. So nice little fruity, citrusy thing going here. You fellas got any?
Yeah, and it's called what?
If you want to name it, you're welcome to. I have not come up with anything for it.
All right, we'll have to come up with a name for it. I just have Pepsi. Pepsi, if you're listening.
Is that like Canadian Coke?
Slide into my DMs. I'll give you my address and we can arrange something. Yeah, the Dunsmuir House, man, is for me, I saw it first with Burnt Offerings, and then to see it show up again in this was just such a kick. So I hope to make it there someday soon. The missus had plans to take me for an anniversary one year of going to San Fran and heading over to Alameda there and checking that out. So someday we'll do it.
Someday.
Well, now I'm finally on the proper coast to be able to do this. So it's something I want to make sure I do in the near future as well.
There we go.
Yeah, you let us know when. I'll try to coordinate coming over.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. It's only a matter of time.
Jonathan, Derek, you guys drinking anything tonight? And anybody in the chat, what are you drinking if you're following along? You got anything going? Obviously, it doesn't need to be alcoholic because this definitely isn't.
I have, to the surprise of Derek and probably some of our listeners, I have a apple juice and water.
Well,
yes.
Aren't we fancy?
Clear beverage. I just assumed it was straight vodka at first.
I thought that was.
He needs to cut his apple juice.
I don't like
so much of a rough and tumble.
It's too sweet, so I gotta cut it. There's no old fashions today.
You can't get addicted to it if it ain't pure.
I'm making up for it though. I do have an alcoholic beverage here. Although it's a little bit different than what I usually have. This is Pert. There will be Pert Monkey Tail Milkshake Beer from Drecker Brewing. Which
I feel like there's too much going on there.
Catchy title.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Almost like a Tarman type illustration.
No, that is
there.
Cool.
But sounds more like a Giallo than a beer. Okay.
I drink it with black gloves only. But they actually do a like Drecker Fest up in North Dakota every year, which I haven't been to, but I've heard it's like, midsummer vibes, but with sour beers. So might have to check that out someday.
So what, you go and drink beer and then get sacrificed in a bear outfit?
It's super immersive.
Well, cheers everybody. And everybody, Wicked Kitten's got a gin and soda going. So cheers
that does
everybody.
Sound good. Cheers.
Wicked Kitten, gin and soda. Nice. This part of the film was probably seeing it the first time on the videotape, a bootleg videotape at that, a dub version. is when I started to get like creeped out. Not the opening like moment with Tommy there, but this point where we get to where we're introduced a little more closely to our friend and what goes on with Mike in the graveyard, and his motorcycle just kind of like icks me out too.
And if anybody missed like the initial moments with Mike, don't worry, we're gonna get a flashback to it at about like 5 to 10 minutes.
Just in case.
Also, we got a first timer in here, the Horror Geek. Good to see you too. Welcome.
Nice.
Welcome.
Hello.
There's no turning back now.
I do like some of these closed captions.
Warbling as we read.
That's always my favorite part about closed captioning, when they close caption like the sounds that are happening. Like one of my
incoherent grunting.
One of our all-time
sir.
One of our all-time favorites in this household is if you ever watch Aquaman with the subtitles on, you will get to see the brilliant subtitle of seahorses whinnying.
That's amazing. Oh, the James Wan Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Nice.
Well, yeah, never mind. Yeah, after Mom and Dad's funeral, he had nightmares for weeks.
Is that your Jody or your Reggie?
I don't know who was saying it because my Reggie is blocked, so I wasn't sure.
Reggie rocking the ponytail. Has to be like one of the most iconic ponytails in horror history.
Yeah, I should have done a ponytail in honor.
You should have.
And shaved
That's
off the entire upper part of your hair.
Gosh.
I don't know if I can tie it with my own hair. I don't think it's long enough. Hold on.
Get a Phantasm man bun going.
I tie it a little. It's loose.
It's a fan bun. It's got the fan bun going.
A fan bun.
There you go.
Also, one of the best. I wonder if this is going to be in the subtitles where it's going to say like Mike mouths "What the fuck,"
or it says 6 men carry balsa wood coffin.
Make it look heavy because of acting. I remember like a lot of the stories about like the behind the scenes stuff is Michael Baldwin, who plays Mike, talking about like what like a gas it was being able to be like this 14-year-old kid, getting to like curse on camera, getting to ride a dirt bike, getting to fire a gun, getting to drive a Cuda. It does kind of seem like a 14-year-old's like fantasy come true.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
Dum dum.
There's also something extra creepy about like in this first one, like Angus Scrimm still having the mostly like gray black hair as opposed to it being all white in future iterations. I don't know what it is, but something's like a little extra creepy about that.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? No, it didn't show up as a subtitle. He, didn't start till he was later in life. But so by the time this first one came, he was already, I want to say around 50-ish, somewhere's around there. By the time the next one came, add another decade, and then, the gap started to get there. So in this one, there's a little bit more of a fearsomeness there, and I think that's just really because he was younger and he's not in his 60s, 70s, and 80s. Yeah. And that's nothing against him because he is, as we know, just as creepy the older he gets, if not more so, and the more verbose he gets. Now, here's the thing with me, and I don't know Dune from shit. I don't know my apocalyptic sci-fi. I don't know my spices. So I never knew any of this stuff that was being brought into that Coscarelli brought into the movie. All the stuff like coming up here with the box and the do not fear. That's all from what I understand. I haven't read Dune. It's a little too daunting for me. That's all from the book, and then also the cantina, the bar in the town, and it's just, I think it's just a cool connection. And then you get the incidental one of the tall man's minions being remarkably like George Lucas's Jawas right around the same time, right? They were filming around the same time.
Yeah. And then
that's just that, I think that really is just like, we have little people in cloaks, I think is.
Yeah, but to confirm the Dune one, it is 100% Dune. Even some of the lines are the same, but I think it's one of those things that's kind of interesting too, is that like this definitely is like an amalgam of his interests, but also taking a new spin on it. It would be different if they had that scene and they were on a desert planet mining for spice, but being able to take that scene from Dune and put it in another type of movie, in this case, I think it's harmless and more of an homage than it is.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, I think it's totally a tribute. And I just think like it was there the whole time, but it doesn't impede or impose itself on the story as some kind of overwhelming thing. But like you said, it just shows to his own interests, right? Like this car, for instance, this 71. I'm not a car person at all. I don't even like to drive. Okay. We've already decided between me and Michelle that there will come an age where I will just hang up the keys and that'll be it. And she'll take over all the driving, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I can be a passenger forever. I am good. But if someone drove up in that Hemi Cuda and made it an automatic for me, and then I would be a car person. I like the 70s muscles cars, like and prior to that, like the 60s cars, the 50s cars, and then kind of end with like the 70s muscle cars.
While you're making that really good point, Scott, could you move about like 12 inches to your left so the good people can keep seeing you? Awesome. Perfect. But I also 100% agree with that. I am in no way, shape, or form a car guy. Like, it is literally a means of conveyance from A to B. The only thing that I must have in one is air conditioning. But the one car I do get excited about is the Cuda, just because it is. I just think it's more just like the emotional attachment I have to it because of these movies.
I absolutely love that shot of him getting thrown off the bike. It's such a great, it's such a great looking movie on such like a low budget, right?
Yeah, that little whip pan that they do to the tall man, and then just bounce back to Mike as a 45-year-old man flying off the handlebars.
Practical, done in camera.
Here we go.
I can't get my hand out.
Don't fear. It's the mind killer.
Give me back my hand.
He opened up the puzzle box. We're in trouble.
Now I want Scott to dub this movie where everything is the same except Mike's voice is dubbed with Scott. Give me back my hand.
People would tire of that really fast.
Are you kidding? That sucker is strong.
We did get a comment from, I believe it's Lord Decius, that said, "Hello, I've been following your Twitter account for several years, but with things being the way they are over there lately, I figured I'd seek out any other forms of social media in case Twitter ends up completely vanishing. And yeah, I think I can speak for all of us, most of us, when I say we feel the same way. Twitter has been our home for quite some time. We've met a lot of good people, and including all of these fine folks. I think we've all kind of met because of that platform.
right.
But it doesn't mean that we can't, seek out other things. And so, we're doing things on Twitch. We're doing a little more on Facebook and Instagram, and then there's in-person events too. But yeah, we try to interact with Dead readers anywhere we can.
We have bake sales on Grindr, all kinds of community-based events in your neighborhood. And here's one of just the greatest songs of all time.
Just never gets old. And that hat is just classic. I love
The hat's too small, man.
Jody,
man, your hat's too small.
I moved, so I have all kinds of little props. There we go. I got a little hat now too.
See,
he went
I
from
thought you were
reaching
reaching for a guitar.
I don't have. I
he
have
just
it
does it
downstairs.
impromptu, sitting here at midnight.
I'll be sitting
My guitar is downstairs.
I was kind of hoping as a special birthday treat, like two of us could have guitars and we would sing Brian this song.
We should have coordinated it.
Or I could have like a snare drum with like my
See my
with the soft sticks, just not to make too much noise.
Yeah.
Oh, a little Dos Equis placement here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think half the crew was paid in Dos Equis.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it was product placement. I think that's just what they had.
The official beer of Phantasm.
Here's an interesting point from Wicked Kitten. You should think about setting up a Discord server too.
Ooh,
maybe something to consider.
Yeah.
Hot as love.
Definitely.
Well, hot as love.
That's all.
Ooh, a little foreshadowing with the tuning fork here.
Yeah.
So sorry. Who was? Sorry. Let me come over here. Saying we should get a Discord.
That was Wicked Kitten 13 in the chat saying we should think about doing a Discord.
That's my pastor, Wicked Kitten 13.
I'll get a Discord server going, and then the first thing we'll do in there is like some kind of a workshop on staying in frame when you're on a Twitch call or a Zoom.
A Twitch call, okay. You hate me. You're so passive aggressive. Look, it says Dunes Cantina Drebit, you fucking idiot.
Well, you had to have read the book at the time or seen them. When did the Lynch movie come out?
I was like 10. I was 10
exactly.
when this came out.
Yeah, I don't think the Lynch movie was out.
And that's the last time I saw it, when I was 10.
A nice Star Wars shout out too with the Cantina placement.
And the absolute fastest bar pickup you will ever see in your life.
It's true. But you know what I do love about this scene as well is they have the disco theme of the Phantasm.
Which I have one of the few things I have on vinyl, or at least a few soundtracks I have on vinyl, is Phantasm. And I always anticipate when the disco version is going to come on. Just get a little head bob going.
Dog
the
bark.
Remix.
Yeah, we have to. There's no music, so we're just dancing to your beats because I can't hear anything.
God, the Bee Gees remix.
Mike is such a creep. I love that shot where you see Jody and the Lady in Lavender start walking towards the graveyard, and then they just give it like a couple of beats, and then Mike, yeah,
great comic timing, like really good comic timing on it.
He's really doing some voyeurism here so far in this movie. I forgot like how much he just is like stalking people the first like half of the movie.
And not people, Jody. It's like
right.
On one hand, it's creepy as hell. On the other hand, like it's what this movie is talking about. Like this is a kid that has lost his parents. The only like guardian or, kind of family, any kind of like blood relative he's got now is Jody. And he's got just this crippling fear of abandonment, be that, he's probably not thinking about him getting, taken by the tall man at this point, but, he knows that Jody's thinking about leaving. And it's one of those things where this is the part of the movie that like, I didn't used to think about why movies resonate with me. And this was one of the first movies that I remember going like, oh, this is about, because I grew up in a single parent household. It was me and my dad from the time I was like 5 years old to the time I left for college when I was 18. And so I remember being like, there was kind of that subconscious fear of like, if something happens to him, I'm kind of screwed. Like if he takes off for whatever reason, be it like he just leaves or, he dies, like now what am I going to do? And so I get that fear of like what happens if this person who's really real, really, really important to me is just not there anymore. I don't know that I'd go so far as to follow him into the graveyard where he's getting ready to have sex, but I get the impulse to like keep tabs on these people.
Strange warbling.
We did have a comment that this is coming in a lot better than the last movie, but I don't know if that means our feed or. Yeah,
Blur Jason, I wouldn't mind some elaboration on that. Is the like technically it's coming through better, or
we're more on point with our own warbling? Although I know it is also a different streaming platform that we're using too this time. So that could also have something to do with it.
Oh, like the movie itself.
Yeah.
Or the quality of the movie.
Well,
it could be. I don't know what the movie was, so I'm just guessing.
Well, if Blur Jason was here for the last one,
what the fuck? Right here, my little brother. He's got some kind of a problem. And then some wonky music.
Dude, this is turning into like the Chris Farley interview where he's like, hey, remember when that was awesome.
That was awesome. Really slapping the bass there, Scott.
Yes. Don't make me get my bass.
Ooh. Holy shnikes, we really could have a band here.
I got a little Fender bass amp right here.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you have a bass or just the amp?
I do. No, I have a bass. How dare you? I have a Squire P bass. It's a NAS.
I'll grab the drum set, and then Jonathan, you can sing or grab the guitar. Brian, I'm sure I'll
go buy a tambourine. I think that'll be my contribution.
Cowbell, perhaps.
Yeah.
Triangle.
Since we are watching a 70s movie, Blue Oyster Cult comes to mind.
We'll do Corpse Club karaoke Twitch stream one day.
That sounds amazing.
I'll do
that. Will lose us followers.
I don't know. We'll bring some of them in. I'm sure some people here are like, I would do karaoke.
I might need a few mocktails before that.
That's okay. Yeah. It could be all Halloween music if we want to keep it on theme.
We'll do the Halloween theme.
Not just the Halloween theme. I mean, Halloween.
It'll be
like the old Jimmy Fallon thing when he'd have like 10 different people singing.
The cue is the Halloween theme, and then I do the Phantasm theme.
Yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Street theme.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a mashup.
It's a mashup. So
I love Jody went back to the graveyard even after all of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I love to do the line. It was probably just a gopher in heat.
They weren't done their date.
Blur Jason, been a fan of you guys for years. Lost touch during COVID, but I remember the drive-in a couple years ago at Cutoff. But I'm just going to go with the fact that you've been a fan of ours for years, and I'm just going to run with that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, no, we're excited. In terms of drive-ins, it could be drive-in dust-offs, or it could be a drive-in that I was at because we run into some cool folks all the time.
Wicked
we'll take it all. We love you.
A Discord would be cool for karaoke too. It might be a good
Okay.
way to, like, instead of having to like do it on Twitch and put it out for public embarrassment, it'd be like, the Japanese style karaoke club where you get to go and just be with the people who you
Oh,
want to be
wait.
there.
I have Discord. I got it a couple weeks ago. I haven't gone on it though.
Oh, and Jason here said Riverside Drive-In, so that is the one in PA.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly
Nice.
the event. One of my favorites. It was April Ghouls marathon. There's like the super. What is it? It's the Super Monsterama.
Yes. Yeah, because there's two different ones.
Yep, there's
one
two
in
of them.
April, one in October.
One in September usually.
Or September, okay.
Yeah, Riverside Drive-In
Nice.
in Vandergrift, PA, I think, if I remember correctly. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive for me, but yeah, some of my best theater memories, honestly, are at that place because they used to show and still do, but they showed original prints of old Hammer films, all kinds of stuff. So
Nice.
saw Night of the Living Dead on the big screen there. I don't know if I saw Phantasm there. I don't think
Also,
so.
we are officially getting to my favorite sequence in this movie. I think this might be my favorite shot.
This is the walk.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is like the Mean Girls Jawbreaker walk equivalent in Phantasm, the slow motion walk with accompaniment music.
It isn't for me, and it speaks nothing to how amazing the scene is. It's just, for me, there's just so many other scenes that are above this, and this is an amazing scene.
Cool. I'll just go fuck myself then, Scott.
But I love how too they have.
It's not your birthday yet, buddy.
I like the inhales deeply in the
Well, that's one of the fun things about this is that until they actually answered it definitively in part 3 that the cold hurts him, this used to be very ambiguous, where it was just like, does it hurt? Is it like, is he in some kind of weird ecstasy? Is he just like fucking with the kid? Like, it's just like this very enigmatic shot.
Yeah, they don't come across it in 2, do they?
I don't think the cold
comes into 2.
Isn't that what they used to knock him out at the end though? What do they put in his head?
No, at the end of 2.
Oh no, it's the
2 is the embalming.
Don't they use something cold on him in 2? I thought at some point they do throughout.
I don't.
But it's okay. You know more than I do. I
don't know. You know what? Fuck me too. Okay.
I will on your birthday. There are.
Wow. Strange warbling again.
I think they had like the original cut of this was like 3 or 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And they had versions of this where they do definitively, like, the cold element comes back in deleted versions of this, where I think they spray him with a fire extinguisher.
I do remember.
He explodes. So I know they did have a definitive answer for that originally, but I like the way they took that out and made it more enigmatic and more kind of just nightmarish.
Yeah.
Which is, very unusual for the Phantasm series to be enigmatic. So
yeah, it's usually pretty
somehow managed to pull it off.
Yeah.
I love how it's so spacious underneath this car until it isn't. Right? Like, it's like,
this freaks me out because I do have I forget what the word for it is, because it's not technically claustrophobia, because I'm okay technically in small spaces. It's when if I can't move, I freak out. And so this always freaks me out, the idea of like, 1.5 tons of Hemi-Cuda being on top of you and you can't move. That freaks me the hell out.
Or like in The Descent, going through a cave.
Yeah,
like I couldn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I can't do that.
Or you can't turn around.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a shout out for you and me, Scott, from my sister Mel Holmes, Loverboy karaoke for Derek and Scott, which we were we requested at Flashback Weekend in 2018, I believe it was, in the Chicago area.
The Chicago area. That's right.
Yeah, Rosemont.
All right,
Rosemont.
So
yeah.
Now I'm going to mispronounce 2 things. First of all, the person who said it, Lord Decius. Decius. I think
that's how I said. I could be wrong.
First of all, I'm sure I butchered that. I'm sorry. Second of all, Cleithrophobia. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but yes, I think that's what I'm talking about.
That sounded right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
If it's got phobia at the end, I'll believe it.
And I did see here that Jason mentioned it was April Ghouls.
Oh, nice.
Lynn has been going April and September ever since. That is so cool to hear. Yeah, I have not been able to go just due to the pandemic and it being a bit of a drive and having to plan that out. I was like, oh, can't make it that far. I don't know where to stay. But I was literally talking to my wife the other day about heading up maybe the September one. So that'd be cool.
Nice.
You know, on a very important note, I need to get some of Brian's front lighting because right now my beard, which is, I don't think it's not a bad beard. In this lighting, it looks like I'm getting ready to churn butter. It's like all under beard and
you know why?
Old Jebediah Drebit.
You got to lift your camera up because your camera's like here. And you got to lift your camera so that it's looking at you this way. See, you go a little higher. See, that's the selfie angle.
And then do the duck face.
Yeah, and then
perfect.
Yeah, then tilt your head a little bit. Yeah, that's it. See, there you go.
There you go.
Do the entire show holding your camera.
That's too close.
Into the all-seeing eye of Drebit.
I'm just waiting to see how long it takes for Scott to start covering the camera with his thumb while he's talking.
So like about here is how I should have.
That's if you do interviews or additional streams, that's your ideal camera height.
Or if you are interviewed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what John.
And the most important thing to do is to stack it on a really precarious pile of Blu-rays. And
You're right,
hope
though,
that it doesn't fall.
That top lighting's got to go.
No, my laptop is on a tube. Too. I literally have a tube.
Oh
here.
My gosh!
It's on this. It's on this little tube. It balances. So if
like the smallest surface area possible.
Yeah, if I pull the wrong cord, the laptop falls down.
Then what the hell was it balancing on when you showed us the tube, Jonathan?
Oh, secret's out. You're a ghost. I knew it.
Also, the
What's
Dreadlord
going on
says,
in the movies?
There's a movie. The Dreadlord says not enough duck face, so everybody just.
Oh.
There we go. Seeing Scott do it so much funnier.
Let go of my hand. Let go of my hand.
Somebody needs to screenshot that. I hope so. Well, we have the video.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So sensual.
Andrea Subasati actually from Rue Morgue and from Faculty of Horror and her own Twitch stream recommended that we start putting these on YouTube, and I think that scene alone of Scott the up close duck face is argument enough to post these onto YouTube.
Argument.
We'll put that on TikTok.
Absolutely.
It'll just be a
law against it is what it should be.
Yeah, we'll put it on TikTok.
Yeah, we got to start getting our Daily Dead trending on TikTok, come up with some dances, the Phantasm dance.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go viral.
Like
Wrong reasons.
I can point at all the different like Daily Dead headlines from throughout the day, like, oh, this happened and this happened.
That's your dance.
Wow.
Just like
yeah.
This is quite the pitch.
I come from the school of Macarena. Okay, it's
Macarena.
the 20-minute Macarena dance. That's how we do it in Minnesota.
God, Derek, you are the whitest person I know. I love you to death, buddy.
Right back at you.
And this is in a group that includes me, Jonathan, and Scott. So that's
speak for yourselves.
True.
I happen to be just a very light Hispanic.
Very true.
Shut up! I'm trying to watch a movie.
I know you've never seen this before, Scott.
I do love our caretaker guy. No introduction. You know, he doesn't get the big introduction other than he gets a close up and it's like you've just met him. I'm like, I love it. It's great. But you can see just without speaking that he's the minion of the tall man.
Mm-hmm.
How they didn't see that blue lighter sticking in that.
Oh, it looks like somebody got a clip for us. So thank you, Wicked Kitten. I'm actually going to.
That's wonderful.
Hold on, I'm looking at it right now. Movie? Sorry. Audio over audio. Thank you. That's
Instead of
awesome.
watching Phantasm, you're watching
I'm
our
watching
own Twitch
us.
within the Twitch.
I am. It's
We're the
very
most
meta.
narcissistic people on the planet.
Well, I'm glad we have it now forever.
There's a good author photo for you, Scott.
Right here with my mouth up.
for the dust jacket. It's a really interesting mausoleum, just the way the walls are, like the marble and everything.
So if you can
The
believe it,
velvet.
that's contact paper. That's not actual marble.
Really?
They built this set. It's made out of wood, and they got such
Wow.
good, like they got so not lucky, but like they did a good job clearly. But the fact that this looks as good as it
Mhm.
does is absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, you'd never guess. It looks
Yeah, it's so
wonderful.
clean too. It's almost like a spaceship.
Yeah, it's almost like they're aliens.
Why would you assume the spaceship is clean? Just out of curiosity. Clean.
Haven't
I don't know.
You've seen Alien.
Derek, please finish the sentence. Clean as a spaceship.
Yes. You want me on your wordplay games.
Here's our first look at the sphere,
Oh.
which for those like interested in the effects part of it, a lot of what you're seeing when the sphere is like flying down the hallway, it's a baseball player threw it and then they shot it in reverse. And for the
Really?
scenes
Yeah.
where it's going around a corner, it's literally just like it's on a wire and they kind of threw it around. And here they actually, this is actually happening. He's actually dying on camera.
Wow.
Yeah.
He wanted that screen credit.
It's such a good scene.
the
This
links
is-
people go to for their SAG card. It's ridiculous.
And this goes to show that like one like 30-second clip can like make or break a movie. Like this is, you know, there are other great scenes, but this is one of them.
This is when people think about this movie, and now because of the remaster, they think of the little
Yeah.
pea puddle at the bottom.
Oh, because you can actually see it. I get it now.
Mhm.
It's actually it's an enormous amount of urine. It
So
really,
much.
it really
So
so much urine. It's concerning actually, but then really, what's he?
I mean,
doesn't have
honestly,
to
if
worry
that's
about it.
happening to me, I'm going to pee myself.
I
I
love
don't
too
think he
how
has to
the
worry about it.
the groundskeeper kind of had that like Bill Murray hat from Caddyshack that he was wearing there.
Oh, that was Bill Murray.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a shared cinematic universe. It
Mhm.
all
So that
makes
was
sense
Carl.
now.
That was Carl Spackler from Caddyshack.
I also love this.
Where do you want me to put the body, tall guy? Over here?
Whoa.
I can put it over here. I can put it over there.
I
That's
do love
fine.
this first standoff between Mike and the tall man where they just kind of like inch towards each other and then Mike just bolts down the hallway.
What's really creepy about that too is that in a lot of movies, like a character like the tall man would just kind of slowly walk after him, like Jason Voorhees style. But he just like he's trying to run like a 40-yard sprint as fast as he
Mhm.
can. That's kind of horrifying, really.
Our first look at the yellow blood, I believe.
Yeah, and I think this is where we really start going into some more sci-fi territory. I mean, between the sphere and here, it's like this is something we've never seen before.
A little Ash alien like android homage there, perhaps.
Sounds like a phantasm soap opera between the sphere and here.
Lord D says mustard blood. Yeah. Another fun fact: with the finger moving effect, it was actually Don Coscarelli's mom pulling the wire underneath to make the finger move.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she did
All
a lot
hands
on
on
set,
deck.
costuming and all kinds of stuff.
Well, both of his parents were integral to his career. They
Yeah.
funded a lot of his first movies, and were very present on set. Trying to remember, I believe, was it his mom that wrote the novelization?
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Kathy.
Wow.
How,
How
that's her name, not the name of the novelization.
just to throw you off track.
Kathy
How amazing.
Helen, the novelization of Phantasm.
So since the tall man got Mike's shoe, how amazing would it be if he was actually wearing it the next time we see him? Like
What?
He wants him to wear the shoe he stole as an extra creep
Notice
factor.
anything different about me, boy? I have your shoe.
The shoe
It's like
fits.
a 5-minute sequence of him doing this weird little dance in the shoe.
That's all on the cutting room floor.
I'm glad
in
you
that
let that
4-hour
thought
cut.
out loud, Derek.
Yes,
I also
keep 'em
love how
coming.
I think there was a short beat of everybody's like, "Are we going to acknowledge that or move on?" And like, I couldn't couldn't let it pass.
There it is. There's a little finger.
Wow.
And Wicked Kittens 13, the bug freaks me out. Yeah, the bug sequences, especially when you consider like what the reality of this bug is going to be. We're going to see this in a little bit. Like, it's a plastic bug that, like, I think again, it might have been Don Coscarelli's mom that makes it or something like that. But it is, on paper, this shouldn't work because it's a plastic bug with some wire that's flying around the room.
Oh, it doesn't either on film.
Yeah,
But we love it.
half the time the bug's not even there. It's them pretending the bug is underneath the jacket and pulling themselves around. Yeah, weird, right? There's not an actual bug. But I love how they commit to it. Like, it's a testament to the fact that they like fully commit to this whole sequence.
They commit 150% to it. It's ridiculous. It's the most, in a film of, well, it's ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous sequence, I think, of the film. And I think if you were to show someone this sequence and nothing else, they would say, "No, I'm good. Thanks." But I do like the knitting sound as you hear the fly coming up the back of his hair.
Yeah. And I do see a little bit of his hair come up first before you see the bug.
I do like that. Like that.
Yeah.
It kind of fits with the whole like surreal, nightmarish imagery, though. Like, even though it is so different than the rest of it, like it's something.
Well, I mean, it's not quite as nightmarish as Angus Scrimm wearing a child's shoe.
No.
But I think they did the best they could with what they.
But it kind of loses all of its scariness, Derek, when these two actors are pretending there's a bug inside a jacket.
This is kind of like the bees moment in Tommy Boy, right? Bees. Your firearms are useless against them.
I'm pretty sure I heard Chris Farley say they actually pulled that wholesale from this movie. Yeah.
I could see that influence now.
Garbage disposal grinding.
Yeah.
Quick, put it in the Vitamix.
I don't know that they had Vitamixes at this point yet.
Oh, it wrecked his jean jacket, man.
Although Vitamix does sound like a very 70s product, doesn't it?
This
blender is so powerful it'll cook your soup.
I'm not ashamed to say I was watching a Vitamix demo within the last few months, and someone called in and said they had seen a Vitamix at the World's Fair like 80 years before when they were like a little girl, and now they finally got one in their 80s.
Oh my God!
So
it said it was founded in 1921. Is this right?
Maybe it was a hand crank back then, but
although much has changed since 1921, our focus on better living through health and wellness holds strong. So
that's something we can all agree on.
Yeah, we all learned something new today.
That is weird, wacky stuff.
I love how Reggie just walks into this too, and he's like, "Oh, what the hell's going on now?"
What the hell with the off ADR? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, Wicked Kitten 13, Reggie, the hero we didn't think we wanted, but he can't be killed. Yeah,
very true.
Apparently,
he does have he's got such a great arc over the series of these movies. Like, he's a secondary character in this one. He becomes like the comic relief in 2 and 3, and then by 4 and 5 he's like this tragic, like, aging hero. It's just, I love what they do with him. I love that the fact that, like, by the time we get to Ravager, we're kind of more focused on Reggie than we are on anybody else.
Ravager is like on Golden Ball, like he's out on a boat on the river with a blanket over his legs.
I think that was the alternate title, right?
Yeah, on Golden Ball. Yeah, he's just
Ravager
so fragile.
on Golden Ball.
He's so fragile in in Ravager, and they really play that up, and it's part of the arc, and it's just like you said, it's just sad. Where's the happier days of ice cream trucks and
Singing on the porch.
drinking the Dos Equis.
And I think for as great as Ravager is, I think that harkening back to like what happened to the good old days, I think they really tap into that in 4, where they start using some of that unused footage and going back to like, what was life like in like, can we even remember what life was like before the tall man?
That's right. Came and fucked everything up, fucker.
Over and over again.
Yeah. Cha. Did you guys ever read Phantasm's End, the Roger Avery
I did not.
screenplay?
No, that was a reboot though, right?
What's that?
Was that a follow-up or was that the reboot they were going to do?
No, it was like it was a follow-up, I think.
It was what they were actually, I think, talking about doing that since after 3.
It was the one there was a part written for Bruce Campbell in it but it was very much like Aliens. It should have been called Phantasms.
Phantasms.
Yeah, it's very much there's a super plague and the tall man, and there's factions with fighting him, etc., etc.
Maybe it sounds like some of the stuff out of Ravager.
Just a couple of the ideas ended up going into
like
a
Ravager.
giant spear.
Yeah, I think an element like whatever they could get away with a DIY budget, they tried to incorporate into Ravager.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I know at some point they were going to reboot it. They were going to do like somebody was going to do like a Hollywood remake. That must have been.
Yeah, this would have been Phantasm's End. I think was about 98 or so, because I remember just getting into. My brother had the internet, and so on his email, I got a hold of Roger Avery, and I actually asked him about Phantasm's End. Yeah.
No,
I forget what he said though. Yeah. How's that for a tidbit?
Is that what you were doing on the internet at that time? I was doing something real different.
Yeah, Phantasm that was like the first website that I remember going to was Phantasm.
I think that was one of the first websites I checked obsessively to try and keep seeing like, are we going to get some news on a new one?
Totally.
Like, it was a daily trip to the Phantasm website just to see if there was any new tidbits. And you'd get like these false starts where like, I remember at one point they did like this little like this new clip of Mike and the Tall Man. That wasn't actually from like, it wasn't like production footage, but it like just enough to be like, okay, are they going to do something? Like, is this going to like build on that? And yeah, it was just years of false starts and broken hearts. But, you know, I remember being pretty bummed out when instead of getting Phantasm's End, we got Phantasm 4. But now, honestly, I can't picture this series going any better than it did over the course of the 5 films that we got.
Totally.
Wicked Kitten 13, Ben Affleck as the Tall Man, I guess in a in a reboot situation.
Maybe it almost happened. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
There was in the 2010s. In the 2010s, they were going to reboot it. I just don't remember any of the details because
and as actors go, Ben Affleck is pretty tall. Like he's over 6 feet, which is like, you know, it's not super tall, but like when you're talking about like most actors are fairly short. Yeah. So he's pretty towering. So now I'm just picturing him with like the male pattern baldness, but also the long hair. That would be an interesting. We did get a peek, I think, at what a really interesting not replacement, but if someone else was going to step in for the Tall Man, Clancy Brown.
Yeah,
he basically did a screen test in was it the Mortuary Tales?
Mortuary Collection.
Mortuary Collection.
Yeah,
as their kind of the host or the framing point for that movie. He's got big time Tall Man vibes going.
Totally. I remember you and I watching that and going like, what the hell? Like he would be an incredible Tall Man. And I think, you know, if you're going to stick to the canon of there are so many tall men in different dimensions, why can there not be Why can there not be a different tall man with the same purpose, with the same, you know?
Multiverses are so hot right now.
Absolutely. I like that. Multiverses are so hot. Let's go with that. You guys want to eat salad? You guys want a salad? Okay. 3 salads.
No, I'm good, man. No salad for me.
No salad. 2 tunas, 1 salad. Okay, thanks. And another mock drink of whatever Brian's shits he's having. I don't know. Whatever that is.
You don't
Also-
want the half apple juice water?
That sounds awful.
Sorry, and a watered down. If you could take a glass of apple juice, fill it with ice, leave it out in the sun for 17 days,
a room
till it waters
temperature,
down,
room temperature
and then give
apple
it to
juice and
him.
water.
That would be great.
That's why your
By the-
camera keeps moving, Scott. There's a bartender like right off camera.
Oh, I wish.
Well, we don't all have a bar card there.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
dude, we all
come on.
can.
Functional. One day
Some
you'll
of us
all
have to-
understand.
Some of us have to get our own alcohol. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't even have any here. There's everything in this room. I have all kinds of props and gloves, and I got everything, but I don't have. I don't
Yeah,
have my
comic
drinks.
books.
Yeah, I got.
You got the creepy like creep show lighting,
I
EC
got
Comics
everything.
lighting.
I got painter's tape.
Oh,
Got sunglasses.
I want to try alien tape.
Yeah, I got cough drops.
I saw the
Maybe it's a
commercial
cough
for
drop.
that.
If you take enough of those, you'll probably get a little buzz out of it.
I'm not having a bag of cough drops.
You didn't tell me the dwarf was Tommy. Hell, we buried him on Monday. They did
I also like how just like
He's only
vaguely annoyed-
he's only 3 feet long. What is he, a fish? What do you mean he's 3 feet long?
But I like how like just casually annoyed Reggie is. Like, hey man, you didn't tell me this was Tommy, as opposed to like being horrified that their
Right.
friend is like dead and a dwarf.
As opposed to any other shrunken alien.
Hey
We
man,
did
not
that.
cool. Got to tell me these things next time. Little heads up, man.
We did have a Wicked Kitten who brought up phantoms when we were talking
yeah.
about
oh,
phantasms.
Phantoms.
Affleck was
yes.
the bomb in Phantoms.
Oh my
I haven't
gosh.
seen that movie since the VHS
I don't remember
days.
it
So I
at
haven't.
all. I don't
I've read
remember
the.
it at all, and I know I've seen it when it came out.
I've read the Dean
on video.
Koontz book, but I haven't seen the movie. But I've wanted to because it's in that late '90s.
I remember
sweet
liking
spot.
the movie when I saw it, but I
Okay.
haven't seen it since it came out.
Because you see what it is, it's gray, but the way the camera's picking it up,
We're back on your beard now.
yeah, it looks like it's not there, but it's there.
You just got to pick that camera up, just prop it up.
It's every once in a while.
Stack of
give the people a little
Blu-rays.
show. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, stack of Blu-rays, just prop that camera up.
I've got a little. I've been working on this for a couple months, but
Out of you.
Can you see it?
Also, and just so we're clear, I will not be shaving my beard again on this or any other
Oh.
Twitch stream.
Come on. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I was kind of expecting you to be drinking like vinegar drinks tonight.
No,
Nope.
not on
No.
the birthday eve.
Yeah, no, I'm celebrating me tonight, gentlemen.
He
So I
doesn't.
will
He
be-
doesn't
I will
want
be
a
keeping
sore
my
tum
beard.
tum.
Man, I
Doesn't want a
was.
sore tum tum tomorrow.
I actually just bummed myself out
Mhm.
thinking about when I shaved my beard. I was so unhappy.
How long did it take to get it back to a point where you felt
Oh.
comfortable again?
A solid month and a half, I'd say.
Oh, okay. So that was a sacrifice.
Yeah,
Wow.
actually took
Wow.
longer than I thought it was going to, because like
Yeah.
I just figured it would be like a week and a half, it'll be back, and just
Oh.
it took its sweet ass time.
And it was what, a month and a half?
Something like that until it was back to where it was. Like I had a beard within like
Yeah.
I would say a week and a half to 2 weeks, but it was just like it took longer than I would have liked to get it like back where I wanted it to.
It's tragic.
Wicked Kitten 13, his stomach lining is gone now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I stripped away some important like layers when I did that.
I remember by
I
the
can-
time you and I watched Hellseeker, you were like done having anything
Yeah.
that day. We'd already met all the stretch goals. You were like, I just need to get through Hellseeker, and that will
Yeah.
be a goal in itself.
You know, if there's a point in this movie where I kind of find myself drifting a little, it's the drop off at the antique store.
Oh, but I love the whole thing where he's looking at like the little picture.
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I'm. Uh-oh. We might have lost Scott. Can someone?
He said he was fading. Yeah, he
someone
said he
get a
was
that is
screenshot of someone get a screenshot of Scott just frozen. Oh
Bye-bye,
no!
Scott. He said he drifts off.
It's like having
Except for-
3.5 people on.
No,
I heard him momentarily. Oh, all right. Well, let's talk to the photo that was Scott. Oh, he's back, I think.
we lost you for the last like 30
no.
seconds.
That's okay. It was horrible. What I was so
Now you're a little choppy. Let's say something, Scott. I want to see if the video is in line with your audio.
something.
That's
Nope.
you can't
Nope.
tell.
Yeah, no, your video is like a second and a half behind your audio.
Hello. About
I mean, is that happening for either you, Jonathan, or Derek? Like, I'm
Oh
getting,
yeah,
there's-
I got the same problem.
There's
Okay.
a lag,
With
yeah.
it,
yeah.
it did say I had an unstable connection.
But it's not without its charm, though.
To reality.
This guy's not going to leak all over my ice cream, is he? I love how he's still planning on selling the ice cream even after having a dead body on it.
Also, again, this guy is his best friend, Tommy.
Right. Yeah. You just never know what's going to happen next.
He's still got to make a living.
Right. Next,
Just
you're going
as
to tell me
Tommy's
you got
dead,
Rocky
life goes
Road.
on.
Yeah. I love it. This is kind of, there's a lot of like Nightmare on Elm Street type. I mean, obviously this predates that by several years, but how they keep like getting transported, and there's a real like Freddy Krueger vibe going on there with the tall man.
Well, they said they took really like great care in making sure that they framed that transition so that like you see that close up of Jody, in the chair, and then when they shoot him like waking up or opening his eyes in the mausoleum, they made sure it was like framed perfectly so that like the transition was as seamless as possible.
Nice.
This whole thing is just shot in a warehouse.
Really?
Yeah, this is just like now we've completely lost Scott. Well, we will welcome him back when he returns, hopefully. So yeah, they shot this in a warehouse. They, I think, literally just use a forklift to tip the truck over. Like this was very like I don't think OSHA was on set that day.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This is very creative, though. I wouldn't have.
Sideways.
Yeah, I would not have guessed.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they made this for only $300K.
Mhm.
Wow.
So this wasn't a huge budget. Made 15 mil in the US, and which is crazy to think about it, because
adjusting for inflation.
Yeah,
and
ticket
everything,
prices
too.
were so much lower then. So like, I
Mhm.
mean, this movie was huge.
He did leak on the ice cream.
Reggie's gonna be pissed.
He got mustard in my Rocky Road.
Maybe he discovered a new flavor: alien blood ice cream.
I'll give it a shot.
Try anything once.
Right. Yeah, it is amazing too, because Coscarelli, he had directed like 2 like drama and comedy type movies before this, but this was like his first full on like horror movie at such a young age too, which is amazing that he was able to make something that, I mean, obviously was good enough to stand the test of time and is still, would go on to influence decades of cinema.
Mhm.
So he had a real knack for it right off the bat.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is nothing. I mean, there was nothing coming out at this time that was like this. You got to remember, especially too, the time we were in 79. We're going to be heading into slashers and kind of moving away from some of the classical stuff that we were getting from like Hammer and AIP. So this came out at a good time.
And it's such a hodgepodge of stuff. in terms of just like the influences, the genre elements. It combines so many different things, and it does it in a way that, like, I'm sure there are some people who would argue that it's nonsense, and in a way it is, you know. And it's, you can always have that argument about, like, you know, this is all supposed to be kind of nonsensical and surreal and nightmarish, you know, I think for some people the mileage varies. You know, I see this and I see something that's very deliberate and well done. I know there are other people who see this as just pure B movie campy schlock, and they love it for that, but they don't like necessarily. It's not all that deep for them, which I think is a good thing. I like that people can enjoy this on different levels.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like it's up to the viewer in this. Like, if you want to dive deeper, it's certainly there. I mean, anytime someone makes something with care, they're doing it, you know, for the art of it. Some of their life is going to kind of pour into it, whether it's consciously done or not. And so there always is going to be, you know, kind of mining the meaning. What is he trying to tell us? What is he doing here? And I love that, you know, that we can discuss this, and so many other, you know, horror fans out there really dive deep into what people consider, you know, what a lot of mainstream critics and stuff would consider to be not a worthwhile genre, and they are sadly missing out.
Absolutely. Also, speaking of missing out, we did just get a message from Scott. He's rebooting his computer, so he will be back, hopefully with a stronger internet connection.
Boy, he really did not want to watch this part of the movie.
No, he knew what he was doing. He unplugged his router. We didn't with his foot.
Oh man, I don't know what happened.
If he needed a bathroom break, he could have just said that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
A little dramatic.
well, you know, if my computer were to, you know, just coincidentally crap out right now, I mean, this wouldn't be the worst spot in the movie for me. To say be gone for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. I was looking to see what book that is.
I know, I was trying to tilt my head, and something Legion, or anyone on the Twitch stream know what the title of that book is?
And I don't remember what the title is, but I do remember them talking about how, like, you know, Coscarelli would say, like, you know, fans would come up to him at conventions and ask, like, hey, was there any special meaning to that? And he said no, it was just kind of an interesting looking book that he put on there. I love this whole MacGyver sequence that we have with Joe or with Mike, where he's just like looking at it like, okay, so I've got a shotgun shell, I've got a tack, and I've got a hammer. How can I use that? Oh, and I've got some tape.
Yeah.
And some toothpaste.
This is the exact kind of stuff you'd do at this age, because trust me, I was trying to put things together. I had no idea what I was doing when I was younger, and this is exactly how I would have gone about doing it.
This actually vaguely reminds me of the dumbest thing. When I was a kid, right around when Mortal Kombat was coming out and just getting really big, everybody's obsessed. I was obsessed with Scorpion. And so I got bored one day and I sawed off the top of a broomstick. I put a dart, like the end of a dart on one end of it, taped it on, tied it to some rope, and I just started like throwing it at my bedroom door. Like my bedroom, like I destroyed my bedroom door. Like if someone looked at it, like it was just full with like, I think the rationale I had for it was like I had a dartboard on there and I was already messing it up with darts anyway. So I just kind of like just went with it. But yeah, it's that idea of like a kid looking at like the random stuff he has and like, how can I make something vaguely weapon-like out of this?
Yeah, we got a lot of comments in the chat. We have
yes.
Dreadlord found the book. So we now have the book.
And it's by Roger Zelazny, who he wrote that road trip in the post-apocalypse, which was also adapted into a movie.
The Road?
The name escapes me. No, not The Road, but it'll come to me.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really cool though.
We do have a good point from Wicked Kitten. I feel like as a horror fan, I can find the beauty in a lot of older horror, while others tend to think it's silly or campy. It's almost a litmus test. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's so much, you know, people are always looking for new horror movies, but there's so much to discover from past decades. and so much to dig into. And then there's a lot of companies bringing stuff out too that has never really seen the light of day. There's a lot of movies that maybe hit VHS but not DVD or streaming, or some haven't even hit VHS. So I think it's cool that certain companies like, your Severance and Vinegar Syndromes are also like releasing movies that I've never seen or heard of for people to discover.
It's like Scott's thinking about it. He's trying to get on.
He is.
Also, when he gets on, we're fully going to act like we're done and are getting off, right?
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if he'll buy. Well, he said he rebooted, so he might not know where we are in the movie. So you might be able to. You might be able to get away with it. Welcome back.
Hey.
All right, and that wraps up our Phantasm watch party. Thanks everybody for coming.
Sweet. Came back just in time.
So
Sorry, gang.
We are at about 106.05 if you need to get caught up.
Yeah.
Right at the fiery explosion.
Yeah, the hearse just blowed up real good.
Mm-hmm. Another thing they had to do practically too with pre-CGI.
Oh, I thought that was like a clay model.
Oh.
Right.
Like a little Star Wars miniature.
Yeah.
waiting for my play to catch up, but it doesn't really matter because it's Phantasm. So
you're following along in the screenplay anyway, right? You're just flipping through.
absolutely. Yeah.
You got the tweezers, you're like you're taking the page, and
I would love to read the
novelization.
I'd love to read the novelization though.
Yeah, last I saw, and I haven't looked in a while, but that thing was going for like $300 on eBay. Like
I heard there was a very small number of copies produced, so that was the problem. Online, I'd seen it was 500. I don't know if that's true because
wow,
I would expect it to be more expensive then. But
do you think it'll get reprinted like Encyclopocalypse? They've been reprinting a lot of like hard to find movie novelizations.
I think that's a good candidate for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
It wouldn't be the super collectible version, but then you could still read it and see what might be different. I always love that because you kind of get different scenes and different perspectives.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I just want to read. I don't care if it's an original copy. I'm very curious how it plays on the page,
Oh yeah.
Well, you can get on Walmart, they are selling a book called Phantasm, a novel. I don't think this is the same thing.
No.
It's been 7 long years since Jeremy Chambers' disappearance. Yeah, this isn't. It's by Douglas F. Sainsbury. It's got some weird vibes to it, and not the kind of weird I would be looking for from Phantasm.
Not warbling weird.
Strange warbling. My player has crapped out completely, so
sorry,
that's okay. I don't need it.
We just got to the point where Mike opened the casket and saw that his dad's body wasn't in there. Another moment that they kind of like, if you listen to the commentary, like they make a point of saying that that's a big moment for Mike because he's showing he's braver than Jody, because earlier you see Jody and he can't bring himself to open the casket and find out.
Right.
But Mike does. And it's a moment.
And I think what's important is that they're all dead at the end. Or are they?
Such an uplifting
just in terms of like
and aren't we all, Scott?
I'm back in playing now. So what give me a timestamp?
109:17.
109:21. Look at us.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at us. Watch some movie. Can watch some movie.
I do like that sculpture thing they have over the door too. Like
that's
that
cool.
Greek mythology kind of style thing they got going there.
Yeah.
Especially because there's not much else decorating the walls, so it really stands out.
Yeah, God, Scott.
There's no bless this house or anything like that.
Wicked Kitten
Live,
13,
laugh, love, tall man.
Wicked Kitten 13 brings up a good point. 40-year-old spoilers or 45-year-old spoilers, Scott. Telling everybody that they died at the end. God, what a dick.
But you did say, or do they? So
Or
That's
do they?
me.
Yeah.
Scott's new catchphrase.
I feel like you gave us another good author photo for your book.
Did I spoil that? Dun, 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 dun.
Drebit's gonna Drebit.
Also, Derek, do you really want to mock somebody for spoiling?
I was
the movie
just
for
going to
people?
say, like, Derek, I'm surprised you didn't do it earlier.
It's all right. The glass house I live in has very thick
Lots-
plexiglass.
Lots of stones in this house for me to throw.
I already took all the stones and I brought them inside the house, and you can't get at them.
All the stones.
I don't think you're getting the point of that parable, man.
I open
No,
up
I've
my
got them all
closet and
inside the house.
stones just
They're
fall out.
fine.
He who has the most stones
Within the
wins.
glass.
Two
walls.
stones in a glass house are worth one in the
garage.
pot and the kettle. I don't.
More stone soup for
Perfect.
me.
What?
I mean, I want everyone on the stream to know that this is our usual conversation, like before and after our podcast. So, like, if you want to know, this isn't nobody's putting on a show here. This is just Derek and us. This is real.
Also, I like the dynamic of that. This is Derek and the rest of us.
Just a disclaimer.
Wait, do not fear. Do
No,
not fear.
Getting that tuning fork call back.
Do not fear.
It's got my hand.
It's got my hand. Ow. Wait.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
I mean, he does kind of have Owen Wilson hair, so.
Ooh.
and speaking of Star Wars, you kind of almost get a little Tatooine shot there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. There we go. So, you know what's so effective too in this film, because we're all watching this with the sound off, is the sound design of
Mhm.
that constant hum. And that, I think that really adds that, and us just taking a visit to the planet there,
Yeah.
and the poles, or the Safeway poles, as I call them. That's why I'm not allowed to go shopping at Safeway with my wife, because I'll stand there and pretend
Sir,
I'm in
sir,
Phantasm.
we've talked about this, sir.
You know?
Oh God, Drebit's back.
Yeah.
But no, that's a really good point. I think that as much as everybody focuses on the visuals of the remastered edition, the sound design has gotten a significant upgrade.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great jump scare.
Snarling
It's just a
continues.
masterclass in jump
Or
scares.
did they do more of a they're more like that. Jawas are
Oh,
more
so
like,
you're doing
yeah,
the-
yeah.
Yes, the two.
Subtle difference, but there is a difference.
It takes a finely tuned ear to really hear it too.
It is, yes.
I don't know why the one like slightly so for you, Scott, like the one
Yeah.
area that drags a little bit is in the antique shop. One area that gets on my nerves a little bit is the amount of times that Mike says like, Jody, where are you? When he's out in when he's out front, he just repeats it like I think at least a half a dozen times. Like
Okay.
the same line, just slightly different intonation every time.
But see, mine is just like boredom. Yours is always irritation.
Well, that's how I live my life.
I know. Yours is always like, you know what? I'm like, it's
Like-
gonna be something you don't like.
like Scott goes through life like this. I'm more just like
Ride that wave.
I just hide it better. That's all.
So what you're saying is a good drinking game would be to take a shot every time he says, Jody, where are you?
Yeah, and you'll be fine the entire movie, and then all of a sudden, with like 15 minutes left to go, you will be dead of
Yeah.
alcohol poisoning.
And stop just before the finish line. Just
Oh, this is easy. I don't get the big deal. Oh shit!
And there go all the kegs of beer.
This is also
Great.
funny because it's basically just a bunch of crew members throwing these drums at Reggie Bannister.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Let them know how you really feel. No, guys, that's enough. That's enough of the drums. We got what we needed.
Guys, I don't even have hair on my head. Like there's nothing protecting me. Please stop.
But you know what, though? This is like my kind of, if you're going to have sci-fi, this is my kind of like sci-fi mixed in with my horror, in that I don't understand any of the sci-fi. That like, that's the sci-fi is the mysterious part of the equation. The horror is easier explained for me because it has more of a precedent, right? In terms of your big bad guy, your tall man is just the next guy in line after, Vincent Price and Christopher Lee as your boogeyman. But the sci-fi element is kind of is for me what makes it, gives me the uneasy feeling more now, because those elements really can make it more sinister, because when you introduce those sci-fi elements, then you can introduce, as we find out later in the series, time travel, world domination, big balls.
It is bar none the best sci-fi horror movie to come out in 1979. There is not a better one. I defy you to be able to tell me there's a better sci-fi horror film that came out this year.
In that year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not even close. Not even close.
I'm actually just trying to see if Jonathan will actually grind his teeth into the gums, or
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Not saying anything.
Here, I'll just get out of the way. If you see the poster behind me.
Bar none.
Not saying anything. Oh, I do have my little alien right over here. Where there?
Yeah, for anyone who is not familiar,
Right off camera,
dueling aliens
with Jonathan's film taste, Alien, is it your favorite movie?
Oh yeah,
ever?
easily.
Okay, yeah.
An alien, not aliens.
No, definitely Alien.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Aliens.
3, Alien Cubed.
It's not even close. I like Alien 3, but it's not even close.
And I will say I fully recognize that Alien is the better movie. Phantasm is just the one I hold a little bit closer to my heart. But Alien is a absolutely, just to make sure we're clear here, because I don't want to start getting the ads on Twitter. I love Alien. We have talked many, many times about Alien. I run an Alien tabletop RPG.
Yeah, we try to sneak Alien into our conversation all the time. So thank you.
Yeah, it's not better than Phantasm, though.
I mean, I'll agree to disagree.
Brian. What the hell? Just like, all right, Alien's better, but Phantasm's closer to my heart. Come on, man.
From a purely technical, they had millions of dollars to work with. They had if we're looking at it from a filmmaking perspective and a technical perspective, I would say Alien is probably the better made movie. I prefer Phantasm as a story and as a movie.
I think that's fair.
It's all about what resonates more with you. It's
If you don't have a Phantasm tattoo that no one can see.
But this is the part where Jonathan shows his xenomorph tattoo.
This is the one thing you managed to get in
full
frame,
back
Scott.
tattoo, xenomorph.
I should get one day.
Actually, surprised you don't have one, Jonathan.
I know. I'm always picky when it comes to tattoos. I want to get one now, but I still don't know what it's going to be. Christy gets all the tattoos.
She's just keeping them all for herself.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think we lost Scott again.
Could
I'm back.
Could you get an alien tattoo?
Yeah, once again, we have a really nice still frame of Scott that we can talk to. The rest
Oh
of
my gosh. The window. It's just brilliant.
Alien.
I think he said alien. I'm pretty sure I heard alien. Something
about the movie Alien trying to hear him through the intercom.
Yeah, I think
what's going on down there, Scott?
Yeah, I'm looking at Wicked Kittens feedback. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yes,
Alien is definitely top tier.
Yes, and
Yes,
Sigourney Weaver.
And yes, the one thing
amazing.
that Phantasm doesn't have is Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
But you never know.
What if Sigourney Weaver played the tall man? Would this be a better movie?
If they
See,
ever
I kind of like saying
reboot.
this, hoping that Scott can see and hear us, but can't actually.
reply.
Like,
Yeah.
I hope he's ripping his hair out right now, but no one's seeing it.
Yeah.
Scott, if you agree, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Scott, if you think Phantasm is awful, don't move a muscle. Oh, the truth comes out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we've lost him.
I guess he had enough.
Yeah, and from Dreadlord, we got that Sigourney is fine, but Angus is the boss. See?
Yeah.
Also, another fun bit of DIY like effects work where the tall man bursts through the door and the door goes across the screen. That's actually someone holding the door and has like a motorcycle helmet on and just went running across the room and like crashed into the back wall just for the sake of like, making that effect. Yeah.
See, that's what I love is such a DIY approach to making the movie because of what they had to work with and pulling off. It's amazing because a lot of these effects still are referenced and influential to this day. And they were just like, okay, how do we do this on no budget and just with the people we have in this backyard? You know, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, this is one of those movies that's made over like a bunch of weekends over the course of I think it was like a couple of years that it took them to do this.
Yeah, I do recall that it was like over 2 to 3 years to get all this together. So even though, you know, came out in 79, I guess 77, 76.
Which I think the one interesting thing is that like over that course of time, you would think that like over 2 to 3 years of teenage years, it's weird that Mike doesn't look like he like got a bunch older or like sprouted.
No,
because I wonder if they were worried about that.
And I also wonder if it depends on like what scenes were shot, what were pickup, what didn't, you know, need certain actors.
Sure.
But yeah, that is true as well.
So we're getting down to our end game with this, at least for the first one. We've got kind of Mike going through his hero's trial of, you know, kind of going through all the different things that have been tormenting him throughout the movie, and coming up on another shot that I really love when he's able to get the tall man into the pit. I love when we see Jody in the background with the backlighting we're going to get here in a moment.
You know, I think the interesting thing about this too, now that I think about it, is you don't have a lot of like R-rated films with younger kids going up against a monster or monsters or whatever it may be. This is actually a lot of what we see in like 80s filmmaking. So of course, like this movie being influential in multiple ways, but like we didn't usually see this when it came to 70s films. There were more adult antagonists or protagonists rather, or if it were children that were involved, they weren't necessarily front and center in the action, especially in the third act. They weren't the ones that were solving it. It was like their parents who may have come to the rescue or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like if Tommy had to face Michael Myers at the end of Halloween instead of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, and we did, but we just, and that's the kind of stuff we did get in the 80s, but not in the 70s.
Sure didn't.
Yeah, sure did.
Hey, look who's back again.
Look who's back. However, my Vigia did keep rolling, and he's getting buried in the rocks right now. Yes or no?
A little behind.
We're a moment or two past that. We're at the fireplace where we're finding out that turns out Jody is no more.
Let me try to get to there. Eh?
Yeah, and that shows 78 on the stone.
I do appreciate this shot. Like, I don't know, there's something about the idea of like cutting to the daytime. I think there's something about like it's almost like they're trying to show like the reality of the situation, where it's like most of this is at night. It's kind of, you know, you're working in the shadows, and here it's like that stark light of day where he's seeing that Jody has died.
Yeah, and it's such a shock too. I mean, after everything that they went through, even though it is one of those movies that keeps taking these hard left turns when you least expect it. Like the first time I watched this, I really had no idea they were going to do that, because I thought, well, that's just something you wouldn't do. Like it would be so unexpected to just almost take back what you just showed on film, but it's all the more effective because it's, you expect, Reggie to be the one who died, and Jody being more of like the main character. You're like, wait a minute, that's pretty gutsy.
I think there's also something jarring about the way they cut, and it goes from we've won to like, it's not like this like elaborate like him coming out of the dream. It just cuts to he's up in bed and now he's sitting next to Reggie, and there's something I think very disorienting about that.
Yeah, there's no celebration, right? Like other than the thumbs up, and then you find out, well,
yeah, not so much.
It's
not
enough
so much
that
with
like
the celebration.
Yeah, if you were watching this in the theaters, you may have felt like you missed something, or that like now
like
we can just go back.
Missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine if you went to like go to the bathroom, like, and the person your date tries to explain, like, so what happened?
I can remember watching this for the first time, and again, it all comes down to that music, because he sees the picture and then shuts the door, and there he is in the mirror
with a fresh haircut.
So
they had to reshoot this ending. And at that point, Angus Scrimm had gotten his haircut. So if you're wondering like why does that look a little off, that's why.
Yeah.
But it was from the rock slide earlier.
Also, he got an upgrade. He did get an upgrade, and that's what it is that he fixed himself up, he got his haircut, and he's ready for round 2.
Yeah, this is the different universe.
But when I was 10, I didn't take it like that at all. As a matter of fact, I used to think that his minions were pulling him into their dimension. That's what I thought, because it was so dark in that closet. Then they pull him through. That's what I thought. It was like, well, that's it. And we didn't know anything about sequels.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's the thing I was going to say, like, Scott, like 10 years before we get another Phantasm.
Yeah. 9. Yeah. 9 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
80. Yeah.
88. Yeah.
88. Yeah. 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 And that I found out about kind of by accident. I was looking in the newspaper and I saw this ad. They had a big spread. And so I hopped on the bus. I'm like, what? Went down there and saw it in the theater. Me and about 12 other people, I guess. So
because that's such a wild thing. Because like by the time I was introduced to this, there were at least 2. Like there had been 2 already. So it's weird to. I can't even imagine seeing this first one for the first time, because by the time I saw the first one, I'd already seen part 2 because I was kind of coming of age. And it was all over HBO and shit like that. So like, I kind of had an idea, like, Reggie is still there, Jody isn't. So kind of going back, like you kind of know, like you have some frame of reference, but like seeing this for the first time and having that rug pulled out from under you that way must have been a pretty wild experience.
It was, my end result was being absolutely terrified of the tall man, like absolutely terrified, and not realizing probably at the age of 10 that a lot of that fear is tied into the relationship that Mike has with Jody, that brother relationship, and fear of losing that, right? Like I have 2 older brothers, and that was certainly something that I certainly didn't chase them around on a bike or hopped on the back of an ice cream truck. But it was as a kid, that's something you think about your older siblings going away, again, not to the dramatic effect that it is for Mike, but that certainly, I'm sure, played a part into my fear. So it was really cool how he built that in. It's kind of like he built in a fairy tale in the midst of this like sci-fi horror kind of thing. Unfortunately, and again, like I said, it's the 70s. It's the end of the 70s, but nevertheless, it's still the 70s. So nihilism is still at a prime rate.
Yeah.
And this is just another great example of it. By this time, I had already seen some horror movies from that era, and they never ended well for the protagonists ever, right?
Yeah.
They just didn't in the 70s. So, at Burnt Offerings, the little kid gets, killed by falling bricks.
Also,
I
love how
I'm
that's
sorry.
his reaction to that too.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people. I'm okay with, pretend children dying on, in films. I'm okay with pretend killing of, I'm okay with that. It's
We're gonna
I'm
quote
gonna-
that. We need that clip.
I'm gonna isolate that, but I'm gonna edit out pretend.
Kill children. Kill children. There you go. I'll give you some hot mic. Kill children. There you go.
I think that is a delightful note to end on. Scott
It
wanting
is
children
not.
dead.
Stop right now. My point being, I'm sure
Is that
there
you
was
want
a
kids
point for
dead.
that. Yes. No, don't kill the children except on film. It's fine.
Oh, so as long as you videotape it.
That's right. As long as you film it, it's fine.
All right.
No, you
All right.
silly rabbit.
All right. I think it's
I'm
time
just
to bring this to
saying
a close.
What I'm trying to say is, and you know damn well, is that the trauma of children
Makes you
is
chuckle.
well, it does make me chuckle because it's just pretend.
He's circling. He's on a loop.
No, that's it. It's pretend. So I'm okay with kids in movies pretending to be killed in terms of helping the plot. How's that?
Very brave of you to take this stance, Scott. All right, everybody. Well, on that note, thank you everybody for joining in tonight. Thank you for helping me celebrate my birthday a little bit early. I got a few more hours before I am officially 39, so 40 is right around the bend.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
that
coming.
is
That train is going to arrive at the station pretty
old.
soon. But fellas, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Had a absolutely fantastic time. Everybody in the chat, thank you for contributing. Yeah, we'll be back next month. We don't know what we're lining up yet, but we'll have another fun night with some more fun guests. So thanks everybody. Have a great night. And as always, stay scary.